God, good stuff. Anyway, I'm not going to hold up this lady because she's been giving me the hairy eyeball all night. When I go? Am I sorry? Is it to me yet? Me? I go? She's my frenemy. We're like our sisters, you know, like I'll say something, I'll just piss her off, but that's okay. We love each other anyhow. And so this is Jean Diedrich, and she has a great story for you. Please give it up for Jean Diedrich.
Cynthia, I'm older. I think I might be older than you.
I don't think so.
Not a jazz singer. Hey, Berwin. So, kind of a heavy night, but what I want to clue you into is like, this is like a very unusual voice box because I think that we've removed some usual things from the night, and it's a little more intimate. And this dude we hired, Ralph, he tends to be pretty good, right? Yeah. Ralph, I don't think there's a dry woman here. They're all really in love with Ralph all of a sudden. I'm in love with a guy named Ralph, Mama. I was thinking about this theme tonight, and you know, it isn't easy being green. That's just true. And well, guess what? My name is Jean, and it rhymes with green. And so off I went to rhyming Wonderland, and I remembered this guy, Mr. Green Jeans. Do you remember that guy? Yeah. From Captain Kangaroo. Overalls, straw hat. Not unlike you, Ralph. So, curious fellow though, hanging out with puppets and a captain, but then this puppet of all time, Kermit, he comes up with this song, and it's an anthem to individuality, but in truth, green can also be a metaphor, as we've learned from Cynthia and others tonight. But my story is about that big green monster. Yes, I'm talking jealousy. Green with envy, destroyer of sanity, inducer of destruction, soul-sucking, yet somehow motivating and stirring all at once. Have you never been jelly? Oh, you didn't know jelly? That's what you say on Facebook? Like when your best friend posts pictures of her in a bikini, or even more often, eating food. Jelly means jealous. No, it's not easy being green. In fact, that shit is gonna get you grounded, in trouble, and kicked out by God herself. Envy is one of the 7 deadly sins. It's such a mortal or deadly sin, it's believed to destroy the life of grace and charity within a person. Envy ruins the body's health, it makes your bones rot, and prohibits the inheritance of the kingdom of God. Holy shit, it's not easy or healthy to be green. Not at all. But for me, this chronic condition, it has deep roots. I was born the first of 6 girls within 8 years. The first 14 months of my life must have been just fine, but then baby number 2 arrived, and from the time she spoke her first words, game on. That's my roommate. She's heard this like every day for the last 18 months. A large family is ripe with opportunity for the green at heart, but to have 6 kids is especially cruel. Think about it, 6-packs, soda, popsicles, ice cream sandwiches, and if someone took 2, you were fucked. Parental attention could never be equal. More than once I sat outside the Y waiting for a ride after work because somebody else needed a ride. And oops, Mom and Dad forgot. Our parents were educated people who suffered from a myriad of mental health issues. Like having 6 kids, for starters. But this wasn't the time when you could talk about those things. For Christ's sake, black women got the vote a year after I was born. Presidents were getting shot. Nuclear proliferation was at hand. Who the hell cared about 6 girls trying to get through the day in the city of DeKalb, Illinois? There wasn't a birthday or Christmas where I wasn't sure I was being gypped out of a better doll, clothing, or trip. And as time went on, Becca, 14 months my junior, was raised the pretty ingenue, and I was raised the smart one. It took us 48 years to sort this out, but I think we're okay now. She always had a large group of friends, and I had a she also had that keen sense of fashion. She had clogs right away. Where she got freckles, I got acne, and we both wore braces, but guess what? She was skinny. To make matters worse, as the oldest, we were often left to fend for ourselves in taking care of our sisters when our mother was incapacitated by her love of scotch, or likewise our father was in a rage. Like Maureen's father, he was a giant, but he was probably 5'11", but at the time he seemed like a giant. Physical violence was prevalent, and a good night's sleep was hard to get with the cacophony of breaking dishes, furniture, and knickknacks. Becca and I would carefully corral all the younger ones into the basement and lock the door. We'd huddle together and keep everyone calm. Really, it was like a burrow of bunnies trying to survive the winter. And together we had no idea what to do. This was our biggest childhood bonding experience, and eventually each parent became a team. They were the team captains, and we split. High school came and the race was on. Honors classes, a tie. Tennis team, also a tie. She played field hockey, and of course those MRFers beat New Trier for the state title. I got parts in high school musicals with all of the other freaks and geeks. Thespian! The spring of my junior year, she decided to try out for pom-poms. I was already a pom-pom girl, but we had to re-audition every single year. I had to say it, and I really hate to say this, and Maureen really made me feel bad when I said it. But it was the happiest day of my life when she didn't make pom-poms. How's that for mean girls? But then, of course, she was prom queen. Barf. Then disaster struck. She and my mother were in a car accident where my mother, not wearing a seatbelt, was ejected from our family van on I-80 in a blizzard on the way to Urbana, where I attended school. Becca was the sole passenger, as I had committed the ultimate act of treason and left the night before with a boyfriend du jour. My mother was severely injured, spending weeks in the ICU clinging to life, and the image of Becca holding snow on my mother's face to preserve her nose is one I won't ever forget. It would strike again when Becca lost a full-term baby, a twin. My son Leo and I cared for the surviving twin until Becca could. And Becca cared for our parents who lived with her out of state. But when their death came, we hadn't the tools to come together, and we came apart. For 5 long years, kids had birthdays, graduated, and had surgeries. Thanksgivings and Christmases came and went, and no words between our families, but then deliverance. Well, those of you who know me, and there are quite a few in the room tonight, know that I have lately been wrapped up in recovery from the demise of a 30-year marriage. It literally left me on the floor for 3 months. The sisters I were in connect with rushed to my side, but they had jobs and they had families. They had to ask for help. And by the way, Dad, who we called Big Ed, we could have used your fucking right hook to solve this problem right then and there. And as if the seas had parted and Gabriel himself came down, Becca stepped in. I can only imagine what this entailed. I mean, she hadn't spoken to me for years, except for silly exchanges at family funerals. And when you're Irish Catholic, the family funeral is every week. So we would say hello and how are you, but nothing really very meaningful. She welcomed me, though, into her home. I spent nights sobbing in her daughter's bed. I sobbed endlessly in her arms. I jogged behind her, of course, on the prairie path. I was clothed and fed by her because I had stopped eating. And slowly I began to heal. She came to me with me at my divorce, and she's been yet to another court date with me, trying to get old what's-his-name to do the right things. And still, she is thinner. She has a successful career and a better sense of fashion. She has an intact family with a supportive spouse. And of course, at this point, she has officially bested the shit out of me. But I love her more deeply than ever because this little demon child, of whom I would have erased from the story on multiple occasions. She's been my gurney. She's been my IV and my rocket launcher. She probably learned how to do that all from me, but okay. But she has taught me that envy is a deadly sin. Where Becca and I protected our siblings and threw the blocks for the game of life, we killed off the innocent young girls that we were. But we now have faced our womanhood as sisters and friends. And yes, I am green at times. I know this about me. And I know I have to return to another color quickly in order to keep the rainbow visible. So, here's what I do. When I start feeling jealous, I feel this jealousy as a symptom, not unlike a hangover. I use it to motivate me to continue to pour the love and light into my heart and life so I can become the person I am now meant to be. Red, yellow, gold. I am Becca's sister, after all. I have to set an example. Thanks, guys. Thanks for coming.